Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at a video that Open World Games made a day or two ago regarding Diablo 4 and recent updates. Um, I guess it's a bit of a confession time. I've not uploaded recently mainly because my Diablo 4 uh, beta recordings really messed up. And I say really messed up, I mean they would stop recording after about 40 minutes. So I didn't really get any major or a real good impression of what I was to expect. But I did watch a lot of streamers, so I gathered a lot of information, and I'm still a noob to this kind of genre, this game, and what it takes. Um, so I still feel like there's enough information in my head to kind of get on and know what I'm talking about. But today we want to look at this. I'm interested to see what this video is all about. I've been following a lot of his kind of videos recently. I'm not subscribed yet. I probably should. But before anything else, I think there's an elephant in the room that we need to address, and the main thing is that I finally set up my camera. So here we are. Welcome, guys. This is me. As I told you, I am an Indian man. I live in England. I live in the UK, and this is my first video where my face is on camera. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but I don't want to go any further. Let's just get straight into the video and see how we get on. Apologies if there's issues with the audio. I'm still working out the latency between the video capture and the the kind of the audio coming through the mic. I am looking for a mic, but the one unfortunately that I did want is went on offer and I was too slow to get it. So I think I want the Blue Yeti. Apparently it's a really good mic. So we'll see what happens. It's not the end of the world. I've still got something that works. So let's get into this.
Diablo 4 just got some new quality of life updates as confirmed by Blizzard, plus a new interview with the devs reveals just how much story content we can expect post-launch. Plus, the Diablo 4 lore book was just teased, revealing a horrifying new enemy we can expect to battle. Let's get into this. Here's the headline right here. It goes on to say this: Diablo 4 will receive new story content every 3 months.
What? That's huge. Do you think that'll coincide with seasons? Because that would be massive for them to continue story content every 3 months. It'd be interesting to know kind of how long this they're wanting this to go on for. Is this like for the life of the game? Because I assume it'll affect other titles and any spin-offs of Diablo that they might want to do, like they did with the Forbidden Diablo Immortal. Um, that's big. That's big. Like even Genshin Impact is like a 6 week turnaround on that, and they don't always do uh, story updates in the same way. And even then, it's really drip fed, and there's tons of dialogue. It gets tedious, but that's massive. If they can pull that off, that's impressive.
Expect quarterly updates for Blizzard's upcoming ARPG, and it will bring new storylines associated with additional mechanics and game features. So not only is it going to be story stuff, but we're going to be getting something tied into the story that's revealing new game mechanics and features. Very interesting. So this comes from a brand new cover reveal from Game Informer, by the way. So this is very cool. It goes on to say this right here. Let me zoom it in. In Game Informer's latest cover story, Diablo 4 Associate Game Director Joe Purpura said that while he hesitates to use the word expansion, the game's post-launch quarterly updates will consist of additional story content that will be tied into the new game mechanics and features of each update. Now, updates will additionally be accompanied by a new seasonal battle pass, which will come in both free and premium forms. Blizzard has previously confirmed that the game's first season will not go live with Diablo 4 and will come sometime later. So it's not going
to see that basically tells me that the seasons are going to be quarterly. I was hoping that they were 4 monthly because I have a bit of a busy schedule with my regular day job, and obviously a newborn as well. So I don't know. It depends how grindy that battle pass is, how far into the game that you could get. I think for some players like me who are new to the genre, the last thing you want it to do is really kind of be overwhelming into the fact. But I do think that the fact that they're not launching it, the seasons, kind of bringing them in at launch, I think that's massive. By the way, I still haven't pre-ordered the game. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Probably another paycheck, but um, I think the story. I hope they don't drip feed story content, and that it's actually meaningful, because the last thing you want is story content where you kind of get halfway through a patch and it's over and you've got to wait now like another 2.5 months for the next story, and you'll probably forget what it was before and you'll have to go back into it or watch videos online about what happened. If you're anything like me, you will do that. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I think the seasons things and the fact that it coincides with 3 months, they've sounds like they've pretty much confirmed how lengthy it is between
It's going to be
seasons.
like the season is right out of the gates. We'll have to wait a little bit before that happens. Furthermore, it goes on to say this. In the cover story, Blizzard revealed 2 additional effects players will have to overcome when conquering Diablo 4's in-game nightmare dungeons. One such effect will see an invincible pillar of lightning constantly chasing players throughout the dungeon, while another will add a shade that follows players and, if touched, will obscure their vision and summon additional enemies. That one actually sounds like a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Like, the last thing you want to do is be running through dungeons and stuff, and then you just low on health or whatever, and you're hoarded anyway with whatever hordes are going on, and then boom, lightning hits you, or you've touched this essence thing, and ah, I can just imagine that's gonna make some people rage at some points in the game. I mean, it would be great for content, but yeah, I can see that happening.
We've seen stuff like that where you do like touch a enemy, an elite, and your vision is kind of obscured, and you know that you have been afflicted. So yeah, that's going to be a thing, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit more intense than what we've already experienced within the actual beta. Now, furthermore, it goes on to say this right here. Blizzard also shared a few new details about Hell Tides with Game Informer, clarifying that multiple areas in the world can be affected by Hell Tides at once. Deadlier enemies will spawn within a Hell Tides borders, of course, including remix versions of various bosses from throughout the game. So that's cool, but I'm also, again, kind of worried about the redundancy that could happen with various bosses appearing in Hell Tides as well as perhaps the dungeons, because we already know the bosses will most likely repeat in these 120 dungeons, and to have
Yeah, see that I don't mind grindy games where you kind of have to grind out gear to get where you want to be, but the last thing you kind of really want is repetition, and then at that point it becomes boring and laborious, and you tend to just start like, I'm not kind of, you know, I guess married to this game. That's kind of the main thing that is the big deal here, but the last thing, like, I want to invest time into this game. I want to invest hours. I will play the game. I will record the game, record the stories. I will go through that. But I think that the main thing that I've got here is I don't want the end game stuff to be overly repetitive, because I will get bored. That's a fact. I will definitely get bored, and I do not want that. Especially if, like, for me, this game is probably going to be contender for Game of the Year, maybe alongside the new Zelda game that's coming out on Switch. That looks dope, but I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I'm just going to be sitting there watching other people play it or see the content. But you know, if it wants to be up there, I really hope that the 120 dungeons aren't basically 5 different variations, because at that point, it's you know it's tedious. At the end of the day, it's tedious, and no one wants to play a hugely tedious game unless you do, which is fine. Everyone, each their own.
have them spread out through Hell Tides. I hope they have some sort of different mechanics with them as well. But it is cool to note that Hell Tide events can be widespread all at once and be dropping in and out of the world. So I think that's a cool little detail right there. Now, also,
I
they
didn't know that.
did detail some UI improvements
Oh,
So we're
this is
going to talk
good.
about this one from the most recent
Really
Wowhead
hope they sort
interview.
out
Check it
the
out right here. UI improvements. Will the
stats.
UI be updated with additional quality of life features before release? Now, I do actually have a further update in just a moment about this where they actually show off what they've done. I go on to say this. There are some points that can be addressed between beta and release. Joe Shelley said, the UI will not dramatically change in that period of time simply because there's not enough time. Some issues like bugs need a faster transition, and others are more complex problems, Joe Shelley added. We want the UI to be accessible to all kinds of players. There are a lot of factors we need to think about, and this was recently discovered as well that they actually adjusted the size.
See, I just hope that when you open for your stats or anything, the last thing you want is to see your berries and your random pillaging crap. Like, I want to see my stats. I want to see attack. I want to see crit. I want to see dexterity. I want to see dodge. That's the things that I want to see. I don't want to see all that other rubbish. You know, if I want to go see that, then I do the extra click, but I shouldn't have to do the extra click. I know it sounds so pedantic, but I don't want to do the extra click to see the stats, which is the main reason we're in the game. But yeah,
Socket
it was a bit of a
size
bugbear.
for inventory. So check it out right here. You can see to the left our brand new version where the socket size is actually bigger and you can quickly identify it with your eyeballs, as opposed to the beta version where it was much smaller and you're trying to figure out where in the world are the sockable items. But now that has been updated and it's going to be a little bit of a quality of life adjustment that's definitely going to be improving the experience. That sort of thing that I think really does add up and matter. So I'm curious to see what else they're going to adjust in the future as well. Oh boy, check this out right here. Diablo 4 lore book reveals possible new foe with ties to an iconic boss. So yes, the lore book did reveal what is called the Maggot Queen. So yes, this is very much related to another enemy that was kind of shown off in the Diablo 4 trailers previously, as you can see right here. Looks pretty cool, looks pretty challenging, but what's the difference here between the two? So it goes on to say this right here. Zoom it in. The Maggot Queen's appearance is evocative of Durell, the Lord of Pain. The Lesser Evil was the final boss of Act 2 in Diablo 2 and is also referred to as the Maggot King. Keen-eyed players that spotted him in the gameplay trailer and beta achievements know Durell will be reappearing in Diablo 4. Given the similarities in their visual design and naming conventions, the Maggot Queen may be a powerful monster or even a mini-boss that players must contend with when battling Durell's minions. So that makes sense. And this could actually be one of those bosses or sub-bosses that appear during Helltides that you might be facing off against on occasion as well, which would actually be really, really cool. Now,
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be cool to have kind of a lot of variance in bosses. Like this, obviously, this is my first Diablo experience per se. I have recently started playing Lost Ark, but obviously that's a different game, and I want to start PoE, but oh my god. Just anyway, we're not even gonna. If I do start playing it, you know, I will record the gameplay and we'll you know, you could join me on the journey. That's great, but I hope it's a bit like the Butcher where it can be a bit random and it turns up. I think that's fun. Personally, for me, I think that's fun. I think that's the kind of stuff that I like. I want to be excited. I want to be on edge to play the game. Um, I don't want to know exactly where the Maggot Queen is going to be, I guess, every time. I do want it to be a random thing, which is probably what he's just said, and I've completely missed it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying these updates. By the way, this open world gaming's videos are awesome, so show them some love.
if you're wanting to prep for the launch of Diablo 4, there is a really, really cool and useful build calculator tool. As you can see right here, yeah, this
Wait,
thing
what?
is really cool. So you can select your class, of course. There are
Is this
your
in
equipment
game?
pieces over here as well. They even have some of the aspects that you can expect that can, modify your character But yeah, you can really get in
Wow.
here and plot and plan what type of builds you
Wow.
want to go for and fine tune it as you
This
go.
is
So
not
if you
in
want to
game,
do like
right?
a bleed build, you can go all in for that for the barbarian, for example, and choose whatever class like rogue. So it's very cool, and I believe you can actually go in here and save it as well, and also search out the different skills and abilities that you want to learn about or go ahead and equip, and also share your builds with friends. So this is like one of the
Oh,
best tools
that's
I
pretty
have
good.
seen pre-launch for any game. So be sure to check it out. They continue to improve it. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what actually happens with that one as well. Yeah, now it's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up in a future video. So the question is this: what was my most recent video about? So let's dive into that right now. All right, so here we go. It says, wait, the devs just said what? Official new updates with new changes. Check it out. If you missed it, some new in-game details there, new improvements, and all sorts of cool stuff right there on the channel now. Anthony goes on to say this about the video. I love how it's not all instant gratification and requires time, work, and even research. I find myself more immersed in games this way. It seems very well made thus far. Very excited for the release. Yeah, the payoff can be very big once you find a really, really good build, of course. Now, Mike B says this: love the format of your videos. You're my favorite Diablo 4 news source so far. Keep it up. I'm doing my best, man. I'm going to be hunting.
I mean, I'm excited for the game. I think it's going to be a big game. Obviously, it's less than 2 months away, so it's going to be a huge build up, loads of speculation. Reddit's going to be popping. I think the whole 3 month turnaround on the story and adding to the story, I think that's for me. I think that'll be massive for the continuity of the game as well as the end game. I very much doubt I'm going to be a big spender, but Blizzard has promised at the beginning of the game that it will not be a pay to win system, but eventually it will be. They need to make money out of it. You get 1 million players that sign up and they pay $70. That's, a large sum of money, which is great, but that doesn't really pay for everything and the longevity of the game. If you look at how long some of the other games like PoE or Lost Ark have been going, they are pay to win games. However, there's a reason why they have a longevity within them, and I think that's important. So we'll see what happens. I think I'm going to stop the video here, just in because I think he's doing his bit, and I've got what I needed out of this, and I've really enjoyed the kind of content that he said, and I think anyone who enjoys ARPGs is excited for the game. Would be cool if in the story that you pick a side in the Demon Angel War. Either way, they'll end in some sort of stalemate with no winner. Yeah, that would be kind of cool actually. There were other games out there that kind of how you picked it influenced the path that you're on. I think Resident Evil did something like that in the olden days. I think respec should be free until you reach max level, so you can experiment and learn the game's systems and combat before deciding on your end game build. I don't know too much about respecing, but I personally think if you're going to provide respecing, it should be free regardless. Doesn't matter at what point in the game you're at. I think that is an important thing. I think you don't want to have to make you don't want to have to have made a mistake at like step 8 of 50, and then you kind of have to spend a ridiculous amount of gold or whatever it is, to then rebuild the whole thing, and it sounds like you're kind of just going through the motions all over again. So I'm hoping respecing is free. They said it's I think they said in one of the videos, the Diablo devs videos, I think they actually said that respecing would be considerably higher cost than if you just redid your whole account. I don't really know what they meant by that. If someone could elaborate in the comments, that'd be great. Um, I think I've heard bits and bobs of what that might entail, but I think in general, I'm excited for the game. I like this update. It's a great video. Let's drop it a subscribe. I wanna know when more stuff pops up. So yeah. So anyway, so this is me. Forewarning: I am horrible at pronunciations. I cannot pronounce uh, mythic lore. Took me ages to figure out how to genuinely pronounce certain angels like Tarmiel. I was calling him Tarmiel for a while. It is what it is, so forgive me for that. But if you like the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. There will be more content coming up. I'm hoping it won't be at um, such a change between the two, between the video from the last, but the aim is to get at least one out a week, so that's the dream. But anyway, catch you in the next one, guys. See ya.